Coach Massey here from M2 Speed, Strength and Performance with another episode of Move Your Feet. We'd like to welcome you into this new year. And today we're actually going to take a viewer's email as we get into, and actually he's spawned the objective measures shorts that we're going to be doing and providing you guys with some creative ways to provide for your own objective measures. So today's email says, Coach Massey, at one of your seminars, you had mentioned utilizing medicine balls in objective measures or as a means of objective measure. I had been using the 3-rep medicine ball slam as one of my objective measures. Could you please provide some commentary on your thoughts about that method? Thank you, Dale McConkey, Ultimate Athletes. Well, thank you, Dale, for your inquiry. And actually, it's a good question. We did talk about utilizing medicine balls for objective measures, and we're going to take a look at it today. So I'm going to call Josh in. Coach Josh is my 4th son, and this is Josh's first or second time on camera. I'm just going to put my phone down and get back in the frame. So I believe what Dale is talking about is the 3-rep medicine ball slam for speed or for power, velocity. Actually, we were talking about just the vertical power aspect. And while that's good, that deals with some upper body power, some upper body vertical power. But we also have to remember that we need to worry about and examine the lower kinetic chain also. So this is not like the end-all, be-all in objective measures. So as you can see, we've kind of pre-arranged this with Josh's height. And what I do want to tell Dale is to remember there are a lot of variables when you utilize this as an objective measure. First variable would be your surface. If you're going to do this objective measure, make sure you're doing it on a surface that's not going to change. It's going to stay relatively the same. So for instance, you don't have to be super scientific, but if you were going to do it on turf, the turf is going to change over time. Its integrity will be compromised a little bit as it gets older. It'll be matted down, and you know, that'll kind of be a very slight variable. In general, it's a good objective measure for a fitness client. You know, if you're dealing with high-level, elite professional athletes that, you know, every millisecond, you know, stands for something, then you really have to be very technical, and this is probably not the best way to have an objective measure. But we're here today on rubber matting or rubber flooring directly on top of concrete, and really the integrity of this is going to change very little over time. So I feel pretty comfortable in doing that. And Josh, if you could just pick this up and show them what we have. We have a 12-pound Perform Better ball. It's a PB Extreme. And what's interesting is this is probably one of the more important variables, because over time, the integrity of the ball is going to deteriorate, and not in a bad way. I just mean it's going to change shape. It's not going to maybe have as much of a rebound over time. And these are good balls. It takes a lot to break them. But if you're going to use this as an objective measure, and let's say you use this same ball for people over the course of a year, it's not going to really provide you with accuracy in your objective measure. But what we do have is we have the 12-pound ball. We have Josh. And previous to our video, we actually said, okay, we have to provide some sort of marker for Josh to clear. Josh knows where his marker is, but when you're filming this or you're timing it, and in this instance, I'm actually going to step off frame real quick. I'm going to grab an old school stopwatch because I'm sort of an old school guy at times. What you're going to do is you're going to tell Josh to perform 3 quick medicine ball slams, which he'll do in a second. But as you can see, we just put a purple band up. In different parts of our facilities, we have lines, but a lot of times we just use the tools that we have in our video toolbox to draw markers. But if you need, and this client doesn't know to clear a particular marker, you can use a band. Sometimes we'll just have the coaches hold a pool noodle on either side of them so they can make contact with the pool noodle as being their beginning point. Because if you don't at least clear that measuring point each time, you don't really have an objective measure. And we're already dealing with the variable of the integrity of the ball, and we're dealing with whatever flooring you're on. and we're dealing with that marker above the head. So Josh, let me just get here and do 3 quick medicine ball slams, quick as you can. Good, so that's like 1.91, which was really good. Now, you also have to decide when are you gonna start this clock. So really, you wanna start the clock from the first slam to the last slam. So let's do that again, Josh. And take a look, and you'll see he's clearing that purple band as his measuring point. At first, you might, if you have a little taller client, you could actually have them just tap that bar. But we recommend you use bands or something soft so nobody's clipping their fingers or really hurting themselves during the objective measure itself. Again. Good. All right, 2.03 because that ball took off on him. Now, and that's the other consideration. Depending upon the ball, its usage, sometimes they're not just going to go straight up and down. PB offers a nice ball that really is very consistent, and that's why we use them. But in these objective measure shorts, we just want to kind of give you an idea. Be creative with it. You could do this same type of thing side to side. You could include a jump, but you have to know that you have to recreate like an accident investigator does. You have to recreate the scene to be the same every time. And when I use that as an example, an accident investigator, when they go to the scene of an accident, they take measurements off of something that's going to be there and it's never going to leave. Like, for example, a fire hydrant or a telephone pole. That's going to be a marker that's always going to be there, that's going to be a consistent, so there's not a lot of different variables. So here, we got to make sure we're understanding the ball, the life of the ball, the integrity of the ball. That can be an issue as it starts to deteriorate. The flooring or surface upon which you do the test on, and then also making sure they're clearing a marker overhead. So Josh, you can head off camera. We're going to stop that in a second. So I want you to think about all of these things. You can be super creative in creating objective measures as long as they're replicable. You could do them time and time again, and there's very little variable, because we wouldn't want Josh to come, 3 months from now when this ball has been pounded to death and perform the same exercise as an objective measure and say, oh, geez, wow, that got a lot slower. Well, the reason it probably got a lot slower is because that ball didn't have that rebound to it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, this is Coach Massey saying, greatness is forged, not fabricated. That's your day.